This is a download from BBC Learning English. To find out more, visit our website.
6 Minute English
from bbclearningenglish.com.
Hello and welcome to 6 Minute English. I'm Alice.
And I'm Neil, and I feel terrible.
You look terrible, Neil, if you don't mind me saying so.
It's because I had to get up really early this morning.
Oh dear, what time did you have to get up?
8 o'clock.
Oh, Neil, that isn't early. I get up at 6 every day. It's so peaceful early in the morning.
Well, some people are morning people and others odd.
Yes, well, today we are talking about the biological reason for this. It's all about circadian rhythms. They're produced by a so-called body clock in our brains that regulates our body functions, our body temperature, sleepiness and alertness, hunger and hormone levels. Plants, animals and many microbes have circadian rhythms.
You know a lot about circadian rhythms.
And I'll ask you a question related to them. What does the word circadian mean? Is it A, around a day, B, every day, or C, twice a day?
I'm going to say A, around a day.
Well, we'll find out whether you got the answer right or not later on in the show. Now, let's talk about circadian rhythms and our internal clock.
Why do our bodies need an internal clock to tell us where we are in the day? Isn't it obvious?
No, it isn't. Take jet lag, for example. We rely on the predictable cycle of light or dark in a 24-hour period to synchronize or adjust our body clocks to the environment. And if we mess about with the light and dark cycle by flying into a new time zone, it makes us feel really bad.
Good point. Jet lag is the disruption of our circadian rhythms caused by high-speed travel across different time zones, which can cause tiredness and sleep problems. But Alice, if we rely on day turning to night to adjust our body clocks, what happens to blind people? Because I assume their body clocks can't do this.
Blind people who have some light perception are able to synchronize their circadian rhythms to the light-dark cycle. But those who have no light perception at all, well, let's listen now to Deborah Skeen, Professor of Neuroendocrinology at the University of Surrey. She can explain what happens.
Totally blind people, they've lost that connection between the light-dark cycle and the clock. So there isn't anything wrong with the clock, but the clock ticks and oscillates at its own endogenous period, just the same as if I were to put you in a dark cave. Your biological internal clock would oscillate at your endogenous circadian period.
So if you're totally blind or able to see but living in a dark cave, you have a ticking clock, but with no connection to the outside world. The clock oscillates at its own endogenous or internal period.
Oscillate means to move back and forth in a regular rhythm, like the pendulum on a clock.
Do you think my endogenous clock ticks faster than yours, Alice?
It isn't a competition, Neil. And actually, mine probably ticks faster than yours since I'm a morning person. Anyway, the normal range in humans is between 23.8 and 24.8 hours. And this is also true for totally blind people.
But their clocks are free running. They don't get cues from the outside environment telling them when to wake up, when to eat, when to feel sleepy. So that means they might feel sleepy at the wrong time of day. For example, when they're at work, or alert in the middle of the night when they should be asleep.
It's worth talking about people who do shift work, which means work that takes place outside the traditional 9-to-5 day.
Shift workers may suffer similar problems to blind people because they're trying to sleep against the clock. They might sleep in the day and work at night, for example, which goes against the light-dark pattern.
There are some long-term health problems associated with shift work too, certain cancers, heart disease and obesity.
So, what can people do to help adapt their circadian rhythms to a night shift schedule?
Well, let's hear what Professor Deborah Skeen has to say about it.
We do think that exercise and food, caffeine, may be able to modulate in some way, so has some influence on circadian timing, but not as strongly as the light-dark cycle.
So the strongest influence over our circadian rhythm is the light-dark cycle. We can't alter night and day, after all.
Deborah Skeen says that other cues such as food and exercise will modulate or adjust the body clock. So, eating 3 well-balanced meals at regular times each day can help your body clock adapt to an unusual schedule.
Taking naps or short sleeps just before you start a night shift can help you feel more alert. And keeping to the same sleep schedule every day will also help.
And don't forget caffeine, my old friend. A cup of coffee works wonders for me in the morning. Now, remember I asked, what does circadian mean? Is it A, around a day, B, every day, or C, twice a day?
And I said around a day.
And you were right. Well done, Neil. The term circadian comes from the Latin circa, meaning around or approximately, and diem, meaning day. Now let's hear the words we learned today.
They are circadian rhythms, synchronize, jet lag, oscillate, endogenous, shift work, modulate, naps.
That's the end of today's 6-Minute English. Don't forget to join us again soon. Bye.
Goodbye.
6-Minute English.
From the BBC.
This is a download from BBC Learning English. To find out more, visit our website.
6-Minute English.
From BBC Learning English.
Hello, I'm Rob. Welcome to 6-Minute English. With me today is Neil. Hello, Neil.
Hello, Rob.
In this programme, we're going to be talking about coffee.
Coffee. I've actually got one here in front of me, Rob.
All right. What kind of coffee are you drinking?
It's a skinny latte. And what's that you've got?
Well, I've gone for a flat white today. That tastes good.
It looks good too. The market for the world's most popular drink has come a long way since the days of instant coffee, when we just added boiling water to some brown powder.
Yes, that's very true, Neil. After that came the giants like Starbucks and Costa Coffee, who made coffee drinking trendy and a lifestyle statement. People are far more aware of what they're drinking these days.
But Rob, I don't think we should forget what lies behind the coffee we enjoy every day. It's a hugely complicated business.
Yes, it's the second biggest commodity in the world after oil. That means the price of coffee is changing every day, every hour even, as traders speculate about the price.
And it means farmers in countries like Ethiopia, Costa Rica and Brazil are dependent on the deals that are made in commodity markets thousands of miles from their farms. It makes them extremely vulnerable.
Let's listen to food journalist Sheila Dillon as she explains the impact of coffee markets on local growers. She uses an expression that means has a big effect. Can you tell me what it is?
What happens in the coffee market makes waves around the globe. Entire national economies depend on the price of coffee. It's the key to whether individual farmers can provide for their families, face unemployment, and ultimately whether whole communities stay on the land or trek to the cities.
She said makes waves. This means have a big effect.
She also used the expression provide for their families. This means the farmer's family have enough income to live comfortably. Good, right. So what about our quiz question today? Neil, do you know how many cups of coffee are drunk worldwide each year? Is it A, 38 billion, B, 400 billion, or C, 950 billion?
Well, it's going to be a huge number, of course, but I still think I'll go for the lowest figure, which is 38 billion.
OK, well, we'll see if you've got the answer right at the end of the programme.
Now, the price of coffee has soared. That means gone up quickly in recent years, Rob. Surely that's good for everyone involved in the business. I believe the profit margins for coffee are amongst the highest in the world. I can't see what all the fuss is about.
Well, Neil, just because the price is high, it doesn't mean that everyone benefits. It all depends on how the profits are distributed. You see, there are countless transactions between the grower and the drinker. A grower can have a really good crop, but the amount he makes stays the same, or can even fall.
I see the problem. I expect most of the profits go to the commodity traders and very little to the individual growers of the bean. It sounds like the growers have no control. That's what happens in other agricultural sectors.
I'm afraid so. Of course, some people are trying to distribute the profits more widely, and they have been having some success.
Yes. I heard about some small-scale projects where the company takes charge of the whole process, from field to shop.
Yes, these organisations tend to farm organically. This is very labour-intensive. That means a lot of people are employed, and it creates a lot of jobs for people within the local community. In this way, they're not victims of market fluctuations. Let's listen to Leo Vermani, who runs a small plantation like this in Costa Rica. What's the verb he uses for putting the coffee in a box before selling it?
For our plantation, the approach we have is to go through every step of the way, every step of the process, so that we grow it, we pick it, we process it in the mill, then eventually we'll roast it, we'll package it, and we sell it as a small plantation we are. And that would allow us to stay or be profitable at the end of the day.
So he used the verb package, which means put a product in a packet or box before selling it.
And he said his community can stay profitable. This means they can always maintain profits or make money.
Well, it's good to know that small growers can live reasonably comfortably despite what the world markets are doing. The next time I grab a takeaway coffee, I'll try to remember all the politics involved in the production process.
Yes, me too. So, shall we have the answer to the quiz question now?
Yes. You asked me how many cups of coffee are drunk worldwide each year. 38 billion, 400 billion or 950 billion. And I guessed 38 billion.
I'm afraid you're wrong. The answer is actually 400 billion.
No way, that's incredible.
Yes, it's an extraordinary statistic. Well, we're almost out of time, so let's remind ourselves of some of the words we've said today. Neil.
Commodity. Speculate. Fluctuations. Vulnerable. Make waves. Provides for. Labour-intensive. Package. Profitable.
Well, that's it for today. Do visit bbclearningenglish.com to find more 6-Minute English programmes. Until next time, goodbye.
Bye.
6 Minute English.
From BBC Learning English.